past 6 years, PAX Water Technologies has developed and sold the PAX Water Mixer. And that's designed to keep water inside tanks in circulation, to prevent thermal stratification and the formation of dead water. And mixing has been shown to lower disinfectant residual loss in distribution systems and eliminate ice. Over the past few years, more and more of our customers were contacting us with high DBP levels in their water. Mixing can help with lowering DBP formation inside of a tank by eliminating thermal stratification and lowering temperatures. But mixing alone can't remove THMs from water if they're already there. And so that's why we started exploring aeration systems. So we spent several years developing computer models and about 2 years in the laboratory analyzing and measuring the mass transfer coefficients for multiple aeration technologies. We've also spent a lot of time designing and customizing key components such as sprayer nozzles to make them maximally efficient at removing THMs from water.
Over the last year and a half, we've installed and operated several pilot TRS systems. And boy, we've learned a lot. We've learned that there's definitely a right way and a wrong way to install these systems. Just a small, subtle change in the design can dramatically increase the cost of operating and maintaining the system. Therefore, at Utility Service Company, we've installed a system that is, one, going to be very reliable, and two, will be very easy to maintain.
In order to produce a quote for TRS, we actually need to gather quite a bit of information for you on your tanks, the tank's operating conditions, and your distribution system. And we do that by giving you a questionnaire. And that questionnaire contains all the data we need to perform an initial analysis and produce an initial design. Once we have that initial design, we can give you a price estimate and then talk about options for how to make that work in your system.
We do this initial design at no cost to the customer. And at the end of that process, we'll provide you with an accurate estimate of the THM reduction and a firm fixed price quote. The submittal and permitting process will vary from state to state, but Utility Service Company has civil, mechanical, and structural engineers on staff that will complete all the necessary paperwork, provide a professional engineering stamp, and work with your health department to complete the permitting process.
We've found that it's helpful to engage the regulators as early in the process as possible. We've met so far with regulators from about a dozen states, and so far the receptivity to the TRS approach is very positive. We can set up webinars with state regulators where we can brief them about the technology and the science behind that technology, and that can often be a helpful way of speeding the process of approval. Unlike THMs, HAAs are not volatile, so they can't directly be removed by aeration. But what we found is if you can address THM levels using aeration, you may be able to make other adjustments in your treatment operations or in your distribution system that might lower HAA levels indirectly. For example, pH is known to affect the production of HAAs and THMs, and it sort of competes with one another. What we found is if you can lower THMs in the distribution system, you may be able to adjust pH conditions in your treatment operation and lower the formation of HAAs. But in general, we recommend that you work with your engineer and water quality experts to figure out what options this can give you. As you know, chlorine in water can exist in two different chemical species depending on pH. At low pHs, chlorine exists in the form of hypochlorous acid. At higher pHs, the chlorine exists in the form of hypochlorite ion. Hypochlorous acid is slightly volatile, and active aeration can reduce hypochlorous acid levels in water. So what we do is we look at the pH levels in your distribution system. Any time that your pH is substantially below 7, we would suspect that you might lose some chlorine due to aeration. But if your system is above 7, most of the time we think it's probably going to be a minimal effect.
Because water is continuously flowing through the system, short durations of cold temperatures won't affect it. For longer durations of cold weather, we recommend you winterize it. We recommend you turn off the components of the system and drain the water from the pipes. Utility Service Company can perform this service for you under our full service TRS maintenance program, where we guarantee 100% uptime of the system. We'll perform an annual inspection, the winterization, and the startup again in the spring. Under that program, you're assured the TRS system will be working properly.
Because the TRS system has to be custom designed for each tank and each tank's operating conditions, we need to perform an initial analysis before we can present a proposal. That being said, our customers are finding that TRS can be very attractive as compared to other treatment plant and distribution system operations they're considering to lower THM levels. But more importantly, TRS can be a very valuable component to a comprehensive DBP reduction strategy that might incorporate changes in the treatment plant as well as technology in the distribution system. By incorporating in-tank aeration, you might be able to substantially reduce the cost and scope of some of those large-scale treatment plant operations you've been considering. If you have any other questions that we haven't addressed in this presentation, feel free to contact us directly.
Or we could set up a webinar with the engineers and we could talk more about the technical details of the TRS system.